Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Donnie here, and I have a very special video here today. It was actually my first installment in my classic movie spotlight series. Uh, if you saw my intro video, I talk about how I'm going to be doing videos about classic TV shows and movies. But so far, all my videos have been about television, but that's about to change now. I'm going to be talking about a film that is one of my two all-time favorite films. My other all-time favorite is A Christmas Story, but I figure I will save that for December when I'll talk as we get closer to Christmas. I'll talk about that. But this one for the season we're in right now seems very relevant. It's one of the most famous summer movies of all time. It was a little film directed by Steven Spielberg called Jaws. Jaws has been one of my all-time favorites ever since I was a little kid, and I've probably seen this movie more than any other movie in my life. And it's one of the most famous movies that almost everyone has seen. Uh, and kind of, most people kind of know the whole gist of it. It's about a great white shark that terrorizes a New England community named Amityville, and three men, the police chief, Martin Brody, and an oceanographer named Matt Hooper, and the grizzled fisherman named Quint, go out to destroy the shark after he's killed several people. So I'm not going to be focusing too much on that things. I want to focus on some different aspects related to the film. Um, Jaws is actually based off a book, also called Jaws. It was written by Peter Benchley, who actually contributed to the screenplay of the film and has a cameo role as a reporter. Uh, so, movies based off books is no recent trend in Hollywood. It's kind of been one of the biggest standards for making films ever since the beginning of filmmaking. But whenever you make a film based off of something else, whether it be a book, a play, or a TV show, whatever, there's always going to be that comparison, especially with books. Because when you have to make a film based off a book, you have to eliminate a lot from the novel, from the source. Um, because if you included everything, you might wind up with a 7-hour movie. And obviously, you can alienate some fans of the book who may be upset that you reduced this character's role or eliminated the subplot, took out this scene, or whatnot, or whatnot. So a lot of times, films fail to reach the high standard set by the book. You know, but on rare occasions, sometimes the film will surpass the book. There's been a couple instances of that, and usually those are ones where people are surprised that it's even based off a book, or where the book's not very well regarded or is more obscure maybe. Some examples include The Exorcist, Godfather, Jurassic Park, another Steven Spielberg film. But Jaws has kind of always been the one that has been the gold standard of this. It's kind of been the one example of where the movie surpasses the book. The Jaws the book is not as well regarded. It's not really considered a literary classic. And when Steven Spielberg chose to eliminate a lot of subplots because there's a lot of other stuff going on in the book that he wanted to get rid of and just focus on the shark and the hunt for the shark. So and and they wound up being some wise choices that he made. Uh, one such one such choice was to eliminate a subplot where Matt Hooper carries on an affair with Chief Brody's wife, Ellen. And the reason that Spielberg wanted to get rid of this was because he felt that would destroy the camaraderie between the men when they're out on the boat. It would kind of create this dark cloud over them. So, that was a very wise choice, and they were able to just, focus on the shark, and, there's nothing like in the back of anyone's mind as they're hunting the shark. you know, and their brotherhood and their friendship, makes it all that much more believable in the latter half of the film. Another subplot that was eliminated involved the mayor, who had special connections to the local mafia, and that was kind of his reasoning for wanting to keep the beaches open. Whereas in the movie, they get rid of that, and his motivation for keeping the beaches open is just simply money. He says Amityville is a summer town, and we rely on those summer dollars. Amity, not Amityville. That's another movie. I'm sorry about that. Uh, but it makes it, that's the pretty plausible reasoning. Obviously, the mayor made some poor choices in the film. That's no surprise. But um, it's a bit more plausible, and I think with the mafia, it's kind of unnecessary. You can just look, you could say, yeah, this town relies on the summer tourism, and so it makes some hard decisions for him. So while you may you know, disagree with the decisions, you can at least understand it. Whereas the mafia thing, it just is unnecessary. He doesn't have that in there, so it becomes very interesting and helps just move the story along. You don't get bogged down with details, and it's one of the reasons why this film has just become such an enduring classic, that you're able to just focus on the shark. That a lot of the fluff is eliminated, and and Spielberg is able to craft just an excellent story just based off of something, a rather simple concept, but made it very effective and very thrilling, and regarded as a classic. So Jaws kind of changed the face of Hollywood, especially with how it was released and marketed. When Jaws was the first true summer blockbuster that many people considered that. Um, right now we think of it. We look at Hollywood and how the biggest films, the franchise films, the biggest money makers get released in the summer, because you figure, you know, who goes to movies? Young people, high school kids, college students, all who are off of school for the summer, you know, looking for something to do. Um, in the summer, want to beat the heat. What better way to cool down than in a nice, air-conditioned movie theater with a big, huge soda with way too much ice? So they're going to market these films and release them in the summer, and that helps make the studios money, and the money that they can go out and they can make these other films, the cult classic and the sleeper hits, and and find those other films, and that otherwise maybe you want to get bought and made. So Jaws, was a huge success. It was a huge success. It actually broke the box office record to become the highest grossing movie of all time. Granted, it only held on to that record for 2 years, because 2 years later, in 1977, a little film called Star Wars came out and broke it. But then Spielberg was able to reclaim the title in 1982 with E.T., and then he beat his own record 11 years later with Jurassic Park. But then James Cameron came along with Titanic, and then he beat his own record in 2009 with Avatar. Now, recently, about 2 years ago, Avengers Endgame took the record, but actually, due to foreign releases, Avatar has retook the record earlier this year. Kind of strange, but so even though Jaws only held on to the record for 2 years, it really changed the face of Hollywood, and is still not only that, but it's just an overall great film, one of the most thrilling films of all time. It's one of my all-time favorites, and I was excited to do this video, and it's just a film that I highly, highly recommend. Um, if you've never seen it, get out there and see it. It's an incredible film. Um, and it gave the world Steven Spielberg. He was just a little-known director who'd only done one film before, and it did a TV movie and a few TV episodes, including the first episode of Columbo, which I talked about in a past video. Check out. That was Classic TV Spotlight episode 3, if you're interested. So that is it. As always, I am always looking for recommendations. If you want a TV show or a movie that you want to hear me talk about, leave it in the comments. Also like, subscribe, the works. So thank you for watching, and until next time, take it easy.